Hello darlings, it's Tess. Today for you I have got probably the most pragmatic video I'll ever make, and I therefore also hope that it is one of the shortest. But basically I'm going to show you my personal trick for a very imperfect but hopefully still vaguely useful DIY 2-minute emergency face mask. Now, I'm sure you've noticed, but we've got a little bit of a global pandemic on our hands here, Gorge.
Oh hey, Gorge. Oh hey, how are you, Gorge?
And I'm sure we're all thinking pretty much 24/7 about how to stay safe. On this here colourful, rambly, arts and crafts soaked channel, I'm far better at telling you ways of how to keep yourself optimistic or creative or distracted during a time like this. That's usually the stuff that I try to speak on. I have no technical or official qualifications whatsoever, basically to tell anybody how to stay safe at almost any activity, besides maybe don't burn yourself with your hot glue gun. So I hesitate to even make this video, but the fact is I came up with this trick a few weeks ago and it was useful enough for me, and so I thought I might share it with you. Because I'm sure we've heard a lot of conflicting messages about masks. The main safety tips are to stay home as much as you can, wash your hands, if you do have to go outside, only do it if it's essential, and keep 1.5 meters away from everybody. All of us know this. But then something else that's been a little bit more kind of discussed and confusing is whether or not all of us or some of us need to wear face masks. Now, a very obvious answer to this is that anyone and everyone, the deities, superheroes, gods, goddesses, perfect, wonderful humans that are on the medical front lines right now, they obviously need to wear masks. That goes without saying. But the problem is, because all of us regular people are going, should we wear masks, should we not? It means there's actually a shortage, so that these amazing people who need masks the most don't actually have them. So even if we wanted to buy them, they're sold out in an awful lot of places. They've been sold out for weeks. Here in Sydney, where I am, I only saw them restocked in stores a couple of days ago. But in any case, a lot of us don't have reusable masks, whether or not we want them. And so a few weeks ago, this became a little bit of a problem for me, because don't know if I've mentioned this on a video that will be published before this, so if I haven't, then surprise. But basically, a few weeks ago, I had a coronavirus scare of my own when I developed some coldy, flu-y type symptoms. I had a sore throat and a cough, but no fever, and so my mother thought that just to keep everything safe, I should go and get tested. As you can probably tell, I don't have the coronavirus. So I was getting ready in the morning to go and get my test, and then on the news I heard something that was the current information for that time. Maybe it's been changed since, I'm not sure. The understanding at that time was that masks don't do much to protect you from other people with the virus, but if you have symptoms yourself, then it's good for you to wear one just to protect others. So they're good for germs going out, but not much good for germs coming in, so to speak. The people who need them the most are people who actually might have this goddamn frickin' virus, and that was me. So I'm getting ready to walk out the door and I realize I have got no masks. I didn't have, you know, one pre-sewn or one of those very fancy medical grade ones that filters the air in. Apparently that is the kind of one that will protect you from the virus being around you, but regular cloth ones don't. But in any case, I didn't have one at all, and I realized that if I walked in to this testing place and said, "Hi, my name's Tess Conlon, I'm here for a coronavirus test," whoever is there is going to take one look at me and go, "Okay, well, chances are you don't have it, but you're standing there in no mask. What the hell are you doing?" They would have yelled at me, and they would have been correct to do so. No! I had like 2 minutes to try and solve this problem before I walked out the door, and essentially what I came up with is the trick that I'm going to show you right now that I hope can be useful to you if you don't have a mask yourself, if you can't sew because some people are making them themselves, or there is nobody near you who sews them and you can't afford to buy one. So what I was going to try and do is find some kind of flat, thin scarf that I could tie at the back of my neck as a bandana, like the way highwaymen did when they robbed people. First of all, I couldn't find any of my scarves that I could do that with, but I also realized that if you do that, it means that if the scarf is too tight and it sits above your nose and also give you a headache, but then if you tie it too loosely, it's gonna keep falling down. So I was like, you know, what can I do? What can I do? I can't find a scarf for a bandana. I don't think that would work anyway. What am I gonna do? And I came across this loop scarf of mine, or I think it's also called an infinity scarf. So the most important thing you need for this DIY is a loop of fabric. If you already have a loop scarf or an infinity scarf, then hooray. If you don't have a loop scarf ready to go, you can take an ordinary scarf and safety pin it to itself at one end, just the same way the two ends of this scarf are sewn together. You could do that with pins or with glue. And then the other thing you could do is you could turn an old t-shirt, most of us have at least one somewhere that we really don't need anymore, and you can cut the top of the t-shirt off along with the sleeves so that the rest of what you're left with is essentially a fabric loop that you don't have to sew. If you are cutting something, you want to make sure that your fabric loop is nice and wide so that it covers your nose, your mouth, and your chin. Yay! Once you have your fabric loop, the next thing or things that you need for this DIY are, if you have long hair, tie it up in a high ponytail. The reason why will become obvious in a minute. If you don't have long hair that you can tie up, you need either a hoodie or a hat. So if your hair's long, tie it up in a high ponytail on top of your head first. Then, step 2, then put a good portion of it over your nose and mouth. You're then going to pull it tight, and then at the back of your head, you're going to twist the loop around on itself. That's where the term infinity scarf comes from. So like this. And then, as you can probably see, the reason why I said for the high ponytail is the secondary smaller loop that you're left with can go over your hair. You can therefore see that your mask is now less likely to fall down because it's actually attached to a point above where it's supposed to sit instead of on the same level or below. The only way that this thing is coming off is if I pull it. So if you have short hair, which I will pretend to have by tying mine very low. So let's do this again, this time with no ponytail, and I can show you that it will still work. So, up against your mouth, twist, let it sit just for a second, and there you go. Or, if you don't have a hoodie, twist, loop, hat. So there you go, my dear ones, just a very, very quick little thing to help you out in a pinch. Obviously, the massive disclaimer is that this or any other kind of mask trick does not replace just staying at home and practicing social distancing. That is the best thing that we can possibly be doing. But if you have to go outside for any reason and you either have symptoms or maybe you don't, but you're just feeling a little bit of anxiety and you'd feel much better having that extra layer of protection, anxiety management is one of the most important things we can do. So if you haven't got a mask and you want to feel a bit calmer, go ahead and try out this little trick. Because the cloth barrier might be imperfect for any virus particles around you, but it is still better than nothing, and so if it makes you feel better, then you should absolutely do it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it at least a little bit useful. Please be safe and also be positive about what we're all doing to try and survive at such a strange time. Don't worry about coming out of quarantine like thinner than ever or having learned 50 new hobbies. Like, no, this is a time of global survival and grief. Like, whatever that you are doing all day that harms nobody and passes the time for you and makes you feel less like full of despair. I, of course, am a great believer in how creativity can help you through with that. There are plenty of DIY and craft-based YouTube videos to watch on my channel and on many others, so check those out if you feel like expressing yourself, because no matter what you might think, anything and everything that you create from your heart, especially learning a new craft, will be beautiful. You do not have to be the best drawer, the best singer, the best gluer, the best sewer, the best anything. If it is making you happy to pursue this whole new thing and figure out what you can do with it, then oh my god, that is my dream for you. You matter, you are loved, you will get through this, and remember, I love you, keep going.